So you might ask yourself, where do we get these monster sprites? I'll show you the monsters I use. They're kind of cool. So first you start with the sprite. And we'll call this Monster 1, I guess, because we're going to have 3 different types of monsters. Now the one I use for up-down is this walking skeleton thing. Let's see if I can find him. So this one here, here's a skeleton walking down here. That's kind of a weird one. What's this one do? So that one doesn't animate. Okay, so we're going to use this little guy. I thought it had the ability to go backwards. I guess we'll just use it like that. Okay. So here's our little skeleton. Choose that. And again, shut off precise collision checking and say full image. Okay, so now we make our skeleton object. And we use our skeleton sprite. I'll call it object monster 1, just to keep the naming conventions the same. So what do we want this monster to do when it's created? We'll add a create event. And we want it to start moving. Now to add a little bit more life to the game, you can change the speed. But why don't we just leave it at 4? Just like the Explorer is moving around at 4. Remember, if you change this number, it has to divide evenly into 32 because that's our grid size. So if you're going to go faster, your next one is 8. Okay. Don't click relative. We also need an event here when the skeleton collides with the wall. So we say collision with the wall. And all we want to do is go over here to the Move tab, and we want to reverse the vertical direction. So now in our room, we can put a little skeleton guy there. And you want to do it in places where it might be problematic. So maybe we start here. Another skeleton right there. Okay, so we have a few skeletons in the room. I don't have a closet here, so we'll just have to put them in the room. Okay, so there's our skeletons bouncing around now. So just a little timing. Does anybody know what we forgot to do on the skeleton? Yeah. Right. So right now the skeletons can walk right over the player and nothing happens. Typically with monsters, once they catch you, it's bad. Okay. Okay, so we need to create a collision event between the skeleton or monster 1 and the player. So what we're going to do is, if there is a collision, so here's the monster, and we're making a collision event with the person. And we might adjust the score to like -100. And again, relative. So they lose points if they get touched by the monster. And then we should restart the room. So it kind of resets the room back to the start. So see that one there, restart room? It's on the main one tab. Drag that out. Okay. So now when we get touched by the monster, the game, or the level at least, restarts. Okay, so let's give this a try. See how it just throws you back to the start again? Okay. Now, we're not keeping track of lives or anything like that unless you want to. You can add that if you like, but it'll just force you to restart the level if you get touched by a monster. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about the left-right monster, but if we look at our sprites, I just want to show you some good choices. Okay. So going to the this one we're going to use for our all-direction monster. Now, actually, I think I'm going to use the spider. So maybe this one's our left-right monster. The ghost just kind of floats in the air. You have these players. These are NPCs like a boy, some evil dark guy. Okay, so we have the skeleton walking. We also have the spider. That's kind of creepy. But it has all the different directions in there. So we might make that our all-direction monster. Here we have statues, angry statues. Those might be good monsters. I guess that's it. So I would use the ghost, I think, for this second monster. But it's up to you what you want to use. Okay. In fact, I would use this sprite here, the floating ghost, because it looks like he's kind of floating in the air. Just a slight animation there. Okay. So use that as your left-right monster. And basically it takes the same structure, except we're going left and right instead of up and down. Okay. And that's all I have for today. So what I'd like you to do for the rest of the period, if you got this far, is to fill in the left-right monster information. I also would like you to now, on your first room, instead of just a test room, make this a real room. So try to design a level that's going to be a little bit challenging, but not too challenging, because remember, this is perhaps the first time the person is playing the game that you wrote. You don't want to make it impossible on the first level. You might not introduce the monsters on the first level. You might just have the diamonds in the door. So they get used to collecting all the diamonds. And then maybe on the second level, you can start adding each type of monster. So maybe the second level has the skeleton on it. The next level has the left-right monster. The next level has the all directions monster, which we haven't coded up yet.